Welcome back to Math 171 Pre-Calculus Algebra. In this video we're going to talk about finding the slant asymptote of a polynomial, or some textbooks will call this the oblique asymptote. So first off, an oblique asymptote is only going to occur when the degree of the numerator, so I'll just call that degree numerator, is one more than the degree of the denominator. So for example, x to the fourth plus 7x to the third plus 42x squared plus 71 divided by x cubed plus 3x squared plus 3x plus 1. That is going to have a slant asymptote, but if I were to change that 4 to a 5, that's not going to have a slant asymptote because the degree of the numerator is now 2 more than the degree of the denominator. But as far as finding them, we're primarily going to restrict ourselves to finding a slant asymptote for rational functions such that the numerator is of degree 2 and the denominator is of degree 1. So we're going to find the slant asymptote of x squared minus 4x minus 5 over x minus 3. And first thing that we do need to do before we do any of this is to make sure that this is in lowest terms, that we don't have a common factor between the numerator and the denominator. However, that will come out when we do the algorithm because we'd end up getting a 0 out of it. So what I'm going to do here is set up synthetic division. So I put a 3 out there, and then inside it's 1, negative 4, negative 5. Let's bring down the 1, multiply it by 3, and add. And then multiply by 3, and add. So if I write all of this in the methods that we saw previously, we get that this thing is equal to x minus 1 minus, so that should have been negative 8, minus 8 over x minus 3. But now we start asking ourselves the question, if we let x get to be a really large number, then this fraction just becomes 8 over something really big. It's getting pretty close to 0. So we can say that that goes to 0. So it's going to get pretty small. So as we get bigger values of x, this thing's going to get close to x minus 1. And that's going to be our slant asymptote. And remember, our textbook is only going to allow a slant asymptote when the degree of the numerator is 1 more than the degree of the denominator. But you could, if you wanted to, extend the idea of asymptotes to higher level degree polynomials. So like if we had an x cubed up there, we could theoretically get a quadratic asymptote, but we're not going to talk about that in this course. So the other thing that this section of the book does talk about is they talk about a 7-step process for graphing a rational expression. I will tell you that it is the 21st century. We are not going to use that. Instead, my method for graphing a rational function is called the graphing calculator. We're just going to do that and not worry about the whole process for graphing. So that concludes the videos for section 2.6. That should enable you to get through the homework 12. In the next set of videos tomorrow, we're going to take a look at polynomial and rational inequalities.